Hi, hi everyone. I'm Prithvi Chaitanya. I lead innovation initiatives at Hexagon. We are the oldest IT company of AP and Telangana, and we have our largest R&D center in Hyderabad with 2,000 workforce, which is 10% of our global workforce, operating in 54 countries. Yeah. So I've been entrepreneur myself prior to this. So I was working on my own startups, scaled them up across India, South Asia, and Middle East. Started from Hyderabad in 2013. So I did multiple startups in food tech, ed tech, ad tech, and also something in hospitality as well in Dubai. So we expanded to Dubai and we floated another startup there back then. And then I moved back to India after the exit, and I was helping companies in acquiring other companies, right? And also investment raising funds as well. And after that, I took up a role at T-Hub, where I was heading partnerships, managing communities of more than 10 of them with 80 to 100 startups in each one of these communities, and onboard more than 30 plus VCs in those in that stint. And after that, I was Hexagon was our client. So I used to work with Hexagon from the other side, and eventually they found that I can drive their innovation, and eventually they got me in. And yeah, so I took up that role, and within a year's time, launched the first accelerator program, first of its kind across 54 countries. And after evaluating more than 500 startups, we went on to work with 12 startups, and out of that, three got selected for paid pilots. And now we're working with them, and eventually, if everything goes well, we might acquire them or invest in them or even partner with them for long term. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing there. And on the other hand, I also drive their joint academia research. We filed a couple of patents from that academia research as well. And I also drive IP internally. So currently we're doing a hackathon where we identify the white space in a product portfolio and give it to our employees so that they can come out with solutions and POCs as well for that, right? And yeah, so that's pretty much what I do at Hexagon currently. So 2 years back, if you had spoken to Prithvi when I was at T Hub, right? So if you had asked, hey Prithvi, what is corporate innovation, or what does this corporate do in innovation, right? I would have pretty much said, I'm not really sure. They work with startups and that's all, right? So all of this, whatever I spoke in a minute, it took me almost more than 1.5 years, or maybe I'm still figuring out in that for that matter, right? It's a learning on the go, right? So till and until you're open to learn, you have enough opportunities, whether it is AI or whatever it comes our way, right? So that's a fundamental thing which I've learned as an entrepreneur. So you just have to be open to hear, listen, see, and learn, right? There is enough to learn around, and you have to be like that, or else you would be redundant at some point. How many of you are you're using BlackBerry phones currently? Can you please show off your hands? Show your hands, or Nokia's for that matter. So yeah, you have the answer there, right? So for a reason why they don't exist today, because they didn't change with the times. So if you do want to be Blackberries of the world, then you have to be Xiaomi's of the world, right? So they've launched a phenomenal EV as well, which is one of the best in the market, even though they're a mobile manufacturer for that matter, right? So it's all about that, guys. It's as simple as that, right? So don't think that it's some company you get your paycheck, and it's okay if you don't take it seriously sometimes, so on and so forth. And I'm sure that that might not sound ring a bell to any of you because you're in top 20%, as I understand. But yeah, I'm just saying it like that, right? So you're here for a reason, first of all, and more importantly, if you are able to understand the organizational dynamics, as in what is organization, whatever, whether it is startup or a corporate or an NGO, whatever may be the organization. At the end of the day, if you're you as a team member, if you are able to add a value, I don't think none of you might have become managers so far, right? So Tarun, correct? None of them might be managers so far, right? Are there any managers
Some of
currently?
them are leading teams. Yeah.
Leading teams. Okay, great. So okay, then something else comes onto your shoulder, whether you want to be a leader or you want to be a manager, right? So designations doesn't matter until and until you're able to, take the bullet for your team, right? And you know, s- pass on the successes to the team and take the failures yourself, and be that motivating force all the while. And you'll be a great leader. not just a manager. Manager is a byproduct. You can certainly manage things a lot more better if you empower your teams, right? You don't have to do the micromanagement for that matter. If you are a good leader, right? You're obviously a great manager by default. So that's my basic understanding. So it's all about how you guys are able to take ownership, like whatever good words that Bharati has mentioned or Tarun would have mentioned, right? So all the good words and good stuff, and upskill yourself regularly. Be open, be updated. Don't be outdated. You should know what's going on around, and try to be part of the 1% in that industry. Whether you want to get to marketing, sales, business development, tech development, whatever it is. Try to Are you part of 1% in that country? Yeah, I am. I'm not sure. I'm sure that for next years to come, I don't see a reason why you shouldn't be in a great position, right? No one would want to lose top 1%. No one is an idiot, right? So, it's as simple as that. It's as simple as, how desperately you need a good job. They need a good resource as well, or else how would company run, isn't it? So just aspire to be the best, and I'm sure that all of you would do wonders. And yeah, so that's that, guys. As in, no random gyan. I told you from my personal experience. I don't read books, so I can't quote any books also. This is all from my personal experience only, guys. I learned it hard way, but yeah, that's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tarun, over to you, man.
Yeah, thanks, Prithvi. And just in case you're wondering why are they looking at the screen, they're actually doing something called thread building. So each and every
Okay.
word you're writing, they're actually typing it out. It's like live tweeting when you're listening. So they're all,
Oh, are you tweeting me right now?
no. I mean, they're actually typing.
Typing. Okay.
Okay, can one of you just share your screen and show it to Prithvi? So you can just see what they're doing while they're listening to you. So they're trying to listen to you
Sure,
more efficiently.
sure, sure. That's great. That's great. That's great. Good to see that.
Yeah. Wait, Pariti, can you share
Yeah.
your screen again? There's actually a leaderboard there as well in terms of how everybody is listening.
Okay.
Wait, do you have the leaderboard there, Pariti? Acha, this is a personal asset that you're using, is it? Okay, cool. No worries. You can stop the screen. Okay, so guys, now over to questions. We have Prithvi here to give you some sense of how you can grow as a CXO in the next 15 years, right? Like Prithvi himself, I think, is now leading the innovation programs of a particular corporate. So how you can grow as an organizational leader, I think you have an opportunity to ask him questions so you can design your own roadmap. So who wants to go into the question? Come on.
So one point before we start off with the questions. So I'll give you two examples, guys. So two leaders, as in particularly this is in the context of senior leadership, particularly CXOs, right? So there are two, candidate A, candidate B, in our organization alone. So candidate A takes ownership, and all the critical projects, whenever it is an ICU kind of a situation, he'd be called on, and he ensures that he gets out of that and delivers on timeline, right? Candidate B, so does his job great on day-to-day basis, chill kind of a scenario, no ownership to that level, but he's doing his job okay, decently well. He's surviving there, right? So fast forward 3 years, candidate gets two promotions, so three promotions, including the recent one, four promotions, and becomes a global director of a division. And candidate B is out of organization. Candidate A used to report to candidate B, FYI. Candidate B was in organization for 25 years, and 8 years into organization, candidate A replaced candidate B and became and got even promoted to another level of ownership, another level of responsibility at global level. Candidate B, even after being in the organization for 25 years, could not have ever thought of getting there at global level leadership, right? So it's all about taking that ownership, guys, and reliability. You should be the Mr. Dependable for your work, right? Anything to do with marketing, anything, whatever, responsibility that you guys are going to pick up, right? So if you're able to do your best and ensure that you give the best, I'm sure that you would be the best CXOs out there, and no one would ever want to lose out. Whatever may be the situation, till until company shutting, that's a different story. But yeah, otherwise, no one would want to leave you guys. Yeah, yeah. Any questions, please?
Mitra, I saw your hand go up. Would you like to ask?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, let's say I started my own firm, maybe an organization, and I want to build a network. So how should I approach people and make them see, okay, this is what I do, and this is the quality of my work.
Hmm. So, couple of things, Soumitra. I had built a tech startup. So in that we, or even for a media tech startup that we had built as well, right? So every time what has worked is we want to go after the best, right? So if we are able to convince the top 1% in that industry, right? It's as in it's certainly taken for granted that rest of the 99% would be, our solution would be relevant for rest of 99%. The credibility trust factor is already built, validation is already done from the best in that industry, so people look up to them. So you're already having a successful case study out there. So with that one client, you're able to do wonders. Even for a media tech company, what we had done was we went after to partner with Group M, which is a media agency. So a lot of time, it took almost a year, which is fine. But once we cracked that, the rest of the top four agencies across the world are partners, right? Because the validation is done, and we have Group M on our side, and you know, so that changes everything. That perspective changes. So if you are able to give the best solution in the market, whatever industry that you're going to pick, right? So while you are doing your, I would suggest from idea validation itself, if you see that and find that there is enough market, more than $1 billion at least, then you can certainly do that. And once you do that during your POC stage itself, you can do that validation in a subtle note. If it is a B2B, talk to 10 of your prospective clients and see, would they be interested to take up something of this sort, right? Just in a subtle sense. And then based on that, if majority says yes, more than 60-70% of them says yes, then that's a market that you're supposed to get into. And then you can make your changes in the MVP and then launch it to this 7, 8 clients whosoever have shown interest, and get a validation. And even
I think he got disconnected. We'll connect back. Hope you guys get ready with more questions until Prithvi connects back. Yeah.
guys, sorry, I don't know.
Yeah.
There is some network issue, maybe. I'm audible?
Yes, Prithvi, you're
Okay.
audible. Prithvi, can we move to the next question now? Hello, Prithvi, can we move to the next question
Sorry,
now?
I'm not sure till. Yeah, sure. I couldn't hear till what point were you guys able to hear what I was trying to say?
You were talking about, you were talking
Tarun?
about at a POC stage itself, talking to people, making some changes to your MVP and selling that as an MVP to people in the feedback.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So who is the next question? Is
Yeah. So, Soumitra, hope you got your answer. Yeah.
Yes,
The next question,
thank you.
please. Yeah.
Yeah, Sandeep, please go ahead.
Welcome.
Okay, hello. So I would like to ask this question. What are the qualities, what are the principles or qualities in a good leader? What makes a good leader, according to you, and how to be
So,
one?
so for some of the points we had covered earlier, Sandeep. So one is that leading it in the front, right? So rather than generally what not so capable leaders, as in, they're not great leaders generally. The fundamental difference is that a true leader generally try to celebrate the success or share the success, but takes the failure. That doesn't mean that you have to do it every time, but you take that ownership, right? So which others generally try to push the team under the bus. अरे मेरा क्या जा रहा है उसको worst case he'll get fired. I'm cool, I'm safe. So that is a fundamental difference that I've seen in some of the leaders who have not gone to places. The candidate A that I had given an example, he is a true leader. That's how he grows, and he ensures that his team also grows. They get like right kind of opportunities along with him, and he opens up that kind of visibility opportunities, and he gives due credit that team deserves, whoever it is, right? He clearly states that this is the team. This is not my single effort, right? It wouldn't have been possible without my team, and my team should get the credit without any doubt. So that's the kind of spirit that a true leader, carries with him. And empathy is most important thing. Um, so you should be thinking from the shoes of your team member. If you are a leader, what is it they're going through, and what would you do if you were in their situation, right? So mistakes happen. I'm on.
Yes, Prithvi, you're audible.
Sorry guys, let's get used to us. I don't know, some technical issue there, but yeah, Zoom is letting me join back. Yeah, that's great. Next question. Sandeep, hope you got your answer.
Yeah.
Sandeep?
Yeah. Who has the next question?
Okay.
Yeah, Paridhi, please go ahead.
It's sort of related to Sandeep's question, but as a leader, how do balance between empathizing with team members and knowing when to nurture them and support them, and taking more difficult and harder decisions as a team leader about knowing when you need to maybe do some reshuffling in your team itself, and when it's no longer about. So basically, how to manage between empathizing and being comfortable taking hard, difficult decisions as a team leader for the benefit of the organization as a whole.
Prithvi, you're on mute, Prithvi. Prithvi, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Just saw that one. Sorry. So, Paridhi, I heard till the point you said when you are supposed to take hard decisions. So I heard till then. Sorry, please continue.
So, her question was, how do you balance between empathy and taking hard decisions, for the benefit of the organization?
So, see, at the end of the day, organization comes first. As in, that doesn't mean that when I said be empathetic, that doesn't mean it's okay. My team, even if they don't work, we don't deliver on timeline. That's great. I'm empathetic. It's okay. Chill, chalega. No, I didn't mean that. I meant that there might be timelines, there might be deadlines, but we should also understand what team is going through. Maybe they might have zillion other things going on. So how do you offload them of certain other work and prioritize this, right? So how do you manage that in a logical manner so that they don't they're not put on spot unnecessarily, right? So you're able to give a balanced kind of work to the team and ensure that again delivery shouldn't be impacted. So whatever commitment that is expected out of the team shouldn't be impacted at any cost. Whether you sit and do it as a leader, it doesn't matter, because your team is occupied. So as a leader, you take that lead and you do it, and you ensure that delivery happens. At the end of the day, the company work shouldn't be impacted. That's the underlying motto, right? And when you say hard decisions, you mean firing or sorts or anything of sorts, Paridhi?
Yes, majorly.
Sorry,
So, Prithvi,
I didn't get you, Paridhi.
Prithvi, if I got a question right, I mean, as a leader or a manager, she may not have that rights, but maybe what she intends is to escalate to the HR, right, if required. How do you balance between empathy and maybe an escalation?
Yeah, as in so see again, two things, right? If you are able to talk to the team member and explain this is what it is, and explain them, maybe things get sorted. Sometimes people might not have that kind of patience, or do not want to go that extra mile to put that extra effort and try to see what's going on the other side of team. Maybe they might have some emergency of sorts, or whatever may be the reason. There might be genuine reason from their point because of which they couldn't do what they were supposed to do, right? So if they don't get a fair chance to give what is the reason why they went through, or whatever happened, then maybe it might be injustice to that team member, and yeah. So which is what it makes that leader more relevant to take from a empathy standpoint. They should understand what a team members are going through, and then take a call whatever they're supposed to take for their own good. So there might be situations where if um for the greater good of the person, individual, the team member, it is better that they move on. Maybe their skill set can add value in somewhere else. Maybe they're wrong fit, they're in a wrong place. Maybe they're good at something else, but the team is not able to reach. And also from organization standpoint, they don't see a good value coming out of this particular team. So that doesn't mean that they're not good. They might not be a right fit at that point in that team for that particular project. So yeah, so depending on what's beneficial, what's a win-win kind of a situation, and accordingly a leader would suggest. Manager, on other hand, as in not so great leader, would have just said that sorry, we won't be able to move forward as soon as that, or would have escalated to HR and would have taken that conversation with them. They just try to avoid that hard conversations with the team members, and try to put someone in front of them through HR or someone else for that matter.
Thank you, Prithvi. Paridhi, does that answer your question? Does? Okay. Who wants to go into the next question? Yeah, Farisa, please go ahead.
My question is leadership all about balancing between peoples, or also the innovation that the leaders do in order to uh, drive the things properly? That also matters for the organization he is working in.
Sorry, I couldn't get the question.
So I think
Varun, can you please clarify?
Yeah. I'll just paraphrase it, Prithvi. She's asking, is leadership just about, balancing the people equations, or is it also about innovation and driving the outcomes that the organization is looking for? So
Yeah, that's, isn't it? Managing people is the responsibility, Farisa. As in, that is not the full-time job. The full-time job is to ensure that they innovate on a regular basis and ensure the best output for the company. So whether it is in process, technology, cost, whatever optimization that can be done. So treat it as your own company, Farisa, right? If you are running this company, for example, wherever you're working, maybe you don't own it, or you might not even have ESOPs in that, but still, you take the ownership and see that whatever best that can be done in adding value through innovating on a regular basis, you try to do that, right? And also you ensure that your team also would do that. So the thought process, so it's more to do with how you as a leader treat your team members, or how you think, right? So if you are see the candidate A example that I had given, right? Whenever I spoke to their team, they speak like him only. As in, if I ask something, they say yes, yeah, we should do that, we'll do that, right? So they take that as in that leadership traits gets carried forward. So if you are like that, then there's a very good chance that maybe there might be exceptions, but majority of your team members would be thinking in your thought process only, right? So yeah, so that's how you change everything. How the team thinks, how the team works as a whole. So that kind of energy is infectious. You would certainly share it. Your team members would also catch that, and they would also want to work like you. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Prithvi. That was a lovely articulation. I'm sure everybody enjoyed this answer, although they're busy typing it down because they don't want to lose this articulation. Yeah. Who wants to go into the next question?
Yeah, one small point that came to my mind. So, see, your salary is 10 lakhs, for example. So, till and until you're able to bring 40 lakhs worth of value, no company would ever want to fire you, right? Because their ROI is 4x. It's just, as in, maybe that might sound very basic, but yeah, think it that way. You can always, show that, you have created enough value for the organization. And also, most important thing is you putting in your effort is one thing. Showcasing that is equally or more or even more important than doing work. So in corporates, typically, unlike startups, people that's a huge teams. So not everyone knows what you're doing, right? So it's important that you showcase and put it out there. Don't shy away and explicitly state that this is what I've done and this is how I've done, and yeah, be proud of it. That's okay. But you have to show your effort, or else sometimes there is a chance, especially you have this CDD conversations or your monthly, quarterly review, annual review conversations with your managers. You have to document every single effort that you've put in, and everything has to be written in your CRM or ERP, whatever kind of software where you're punching in your progress. It should all be out there, right? So don't miss out on that, and don't forget to take credit of what you've already put the effort for. Yeah, next question, please.
Who has the next question? We'll take two more questions. So if you have a question, please shoot it right away. We'll take two more. Yeah, Shaili, please go ahead.
Yeah, so my question is, can you highlight some of the mistakes which are done by someone in their early career phase and how they can avoid it?
As a individual or as
Yeah,
an
as an
uh,
individual.
as an individual, right? Okay, so giving more weightage to the pay scale or the name of the company than the kind of work that they're learning, or in the kind of learning that they're having in their role, right? So in the initial days, it really doesn't matter. To be honest, in the first 3 years of my startup days, we didn't take a penny of salary, right? But we had immense learning that today I'm on advisory board of a couple of startups, couple of VC funds, and I am also representing a CVC fund of our own corporate currently. 10 years fast forward, right? So initial couple of days, it's all about you should be like a sponge, right? Sponge. It absorbs water when you put it in a water. Sponge, which is used to our old school sponges or cotton balls, whatever you call, right? It absorbs as much as water it can, right? So it should be that, knowledge ka sponge, learning ka sponge, absorb, deep, absorb, always try to learn. That's all. Just learn, guys. As in, money will follow by default. That goes without saying. No brainer, right? So you have to focus on learning only. Wherever, whosoever gives you the best opportunity, even if it's free, go work. But be the best. Learn from the best folks, right? So fast forward, people who were making more money in the earlier days than you would be, they might be part of your team. You might be their manager, right? So people. So I'm not an IITian, nor I'm from BITS, right? But we had hired both the folks in our startups. So doesn't matter, guys. As in, it's okay. Initially, don't worry about the pay. Only focus on learning. You would see the results at later point, which would be tremendous. So that is that there might be many other mistakes freshers might be doing, but this is fundamental thing which immediately comes to my mind, which you should not be doing. Do not worry about the pay scale. Do not worry about the company, right? In fact, in startups, you get a lot more exposure than a corporate. In corporate, you might have minuscule role to play in the larger scheme of things, right? In startup, you have enough role to play, and there is no upper limit. You can become a manager in next month. You can become a senior manager in a couple of months also, right? Or one day you find yourself as a co-founder, new co-founder who has joined on board. That has also happened. This is very possible. It's all about what kind of value and ownership that you're bringing to the table, right? It doesn't matter, guys. As in, yeah, I maybe my perspective is a bit different than what you might hear from others, but this is what I've seen myself firsthand. So, yeah, that's that, Shelly. Hope I answered your question.
Thank you, Prithvi. We'll take one last question. Who wants to go in?
Okay, while that question comes up, Darshna, 1 second. I'll just take your question. So, as in, I'm just thinking, so some points keep coming. Please don't mind. I'm trying to share in between. Darshna, I'll take your question. I remember that you raised your hand. Yeah. So, about networking, guys. So, Soumitra, you asked a question, right? So, how do you reach out to right kind of folks? How do you build that network, right? So basically, as I mentioned, right? So identifying the top 10 customers and people who are directly or indirectly in touch with them, who can put you in touch with them at some point, or associations which can get you to them, where these folks are already part of that, or networks which they're also part of, or maybe LinkedIn. Usually, LinkedIn is mandatory. That's non-negotiable. So you need to have a strong LinkedIn presence, social media presence, or whatever kind of channels your target audience are there. If it is Insta, it's Insta. If it is YouTube, it's YouTube. If it is LinkedIn, it's LinkedIn. Period. That's not optional, right? As in that gives a lot more visibility, credibility, and try to share as much achievements that you have in your journey in that platforms where these folks are there. So you get right kind of audience to know your growth story that can build trust and credibility and eventually give you that opportunities. So building that network with right kind of people who can eventually become your clients or get you to your prospective clients is an important, networking, thought process. So in LinkedIn, you have this connection first, connection two, connection third, right? So similarly, on your regular basis, so who is your target audience, and who can get you there, and who are the other people, second level connection, who can connect to the people who can connect you to the end clients, right? So always be on a lookout from the point they wake up until the point they go to bed. What all things that they might use, whatever platforms or whatever forums or whatever communities or whatever organizations or whatever associations that they might be part of. You eat, breathe, drink like a client. So then you'll eventually realize wherever he's going to pop up, you're going to be there. So yeah, that's that. Yeah. Yeah, Darshna.
Yeah, I want to ask, how do you stay updated with industry trends and incorporate new learnings in your leadership style?
So first and foremost thing is whatever I mentioned just now, the associations, the forums, conferences, expos, magazines, articles. So for instance, about startups, so I always keep myself updated about what's going on in the startup world. So I follow your story, I follow Inc 42, I follow various other publishers of sorts, right? And LinkedIn also, I follow influencers in startup fraternity, right? So people who have made good exits, who are investors who has invested in best of the startups in India, right? So whom people look up to, right? So I try to follow their posts on regular basis. I see various reports related to startup ecosystem, like NASCOM publishes something, Your Story publishes something, whatever. So reports is another thing. So where anything and everything where you see that news or information related to this particular industry or your particular role is getting published. So ask ChatGPT a prompt, suggests what all ways and means where you can get information related to HR, for example. You want to get into HR, for example, right? So what are the events? What are the expos? What are the magazines? What are the digital publications? What are the YouTube channels? What are the LinkedIn channels? What are the Insta channels that you're supposed to watch? So watch all of that. As simple as that. And also network with right kind of people whom you see that they've been there, done that. So try to be in touch with them, seek their mentorship, try to learn from them. Don't shy away from questioning. It's okay if you don't know. No one expects you to know everything. Then you would have become a CXO by now already. So it doesn't matter. So be open to ask questions. People might think that what they think. Let them think whatever they want to think. So you go and ask whatever you want to learn, know, and try to learn from their information and expertise. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? There are only two ways to do things. Either you do it by yourself, or you learn from other mistake. So I would prefer the second one.
Thank you, Prithvi. So this brings us to the conclusion, but as always in all DT sessions, we'll conclude with reflections. So if any three of you would want to reflect on all that we managed to learn from Prithvi, that would be fantastic. So who wants to go in first with a reflection?
Even if you're not sharing, I'm assuming that you might have some reflection.
Okay. So thank you, Sandeep, for taking the initiative. Over to you for your reflection.
Okay, so in this session, I learned a lot new things, such as taking the ownership of your work. I mean, leaders need to take the ownership, and also to create this environment that you talked about, that giving the, celebrating your team members and giving them the, can we say, the wins of the team. So I think that one was a very good insight that I got from this. Another about the networking, that we should be targeting and focusing on all the things that we are, I mean, the market that we are currently working on. We should be having the news, we should be updated, and we should use all these tools to basically make our network, build our network, meet people, and also question them. So don't, not to shy away from question. I think that is my reflection.
Thank you, Sandeep. Over to you, Naman.
Yeah, so the best point of the last 40 minutes of conversation, which I found, was that you don't need to go up behind the paycheck, but to run behind the experience and learning that is out there in everywhere. And yeah, that was quite motivating, because it was true that people run behind paycheck, and even my parents, ki, why are you doing this? It's not so productive for you. क्या करना है, but yeah, I have explained them the way कि नहीं पापा experience चाहिए, ये काम आता है, I need to learn. So that was motivating. Other than that, key you need how to build networks by running behind the people who could get you the prospectus of client, not if they're not the your client, even then. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Naman. Over to you, Paridhi.
I think my biggest insight, the biggest takeaway from the entire discussion is that there is no easy way out. There is no shortcut to being good in your career or to having, an accelerated career or to having career growth. If you want to be good at what you do, you need to be committed to it. You need to be dedicated to it. I mean, like Prithvi mentioned, you need to be in the top 1% so that no organization would want to let go of you, so that you're contributing more than the ROI that they're getting out of you is good enough that they would want to keep you in the organization, and that you feel that sense of fulfillment from the kind of work that you're creating, something that you're proud of and want to take ownership of. And yeah, there's no easy way to do it. It takes consistency and it takes dedication. You have to, if you want to be at that level, then you need to think like your clients and live like your clients, like Prithvi mentioned. And to network with individuals, you have to put yourself out there. You have to find various resources through which you can constantly upskill yourself, because that is how you would become the type of, irreplaceable contributor in any organization that you are a part of.
Uh, Thank you, Paridhi. And Prithvi, I think it was a fantastic session where I think you touched upon multiple aspects, like you touched upon leadership, as I think um, Sandeep had mentioned earlier about, I mean, the famous Abdul Kalam thing, right? Like how you take the credit, I mean, how you let the team take the credit and how you, bite the bullet. I think that's what you started your talk with, right? Are you willing to bite the bullet is something you mentioned. And I think you also answered Saumitra's question in a very succinct way by saying that if you're able to get the 1% as your clients and get some validation from them, eventually the 99% fall in place. I think a lot of us are anxious about, okay, how do we get these new ideas to spread? But you made it clear that the 1% have their own agenda, they want to grow. So if you're able to go get onto their risk appetite and get them to adopt the solution, eventually the others will adopt. So I think you simplified things for us. And for me, I think the insight that I enjoyed the most is your case analysis of candidate A, candidate B, where you mentioned that in candidate A's team, no matter whom you spoke to, people were like him in taking that ownership and doing things. So that energy is contagious piece, I think, was my moment of the day. That why organizations need good leaders is, I think, the leaders can spread that contagious enthusiasm, right? So I hope all of us take all these beautiful insights and grow as wonderful human beings, as wonderful leaders, and build beautiful cultures where more humans can contribute well. So Prithvi, would really love to get any concluding remarks from you before we close the session. And once again, on behalf of all of us, really thank you for sharing these lovely insights, and this will really help these young folks grow as good leaders.
Good. So, thanks a lot for the invite, Tarun. Great. So, thanks for the heads up, Pardeep. So, good questions, guys. As in, I think that uh, having right kind of questions at this age, maybe it makes all the difference in the world. Maybe if I had something of this sort, maybe my life would have been different. For the past 10 years now, right? So 10 years, as in I have only 10 years of experience. So that's what I'm referring to. As in, maybe in a way, all of us are fortunate to have this conversation. Even I'm still learning. And so fundamentally, guys, one point that comes to my mind is that having a personal brand is very important for internal stakeholders, external stakeholders, for the world to see whatever I told you guys. So not only in my company, in the fraternity, people know what I'm doing. It's important that you share that and you learn from that. And I learn from others also. It's not like one day I woke up and I realized that this is how it is supposed to be done. No, I spoke to a lot of leaders. I comfortably asked them, please let me know what has worked for you, what has not worked for you, so that I picked what has worked, and I created a phenomenal program and executed and made it successful. So now I have a framework. Now others, ISB has invited. Okay, I forgot I mentioned. ISB had invited me as for a roundtable to share my insights on innovation for their course that they're designing. So they wanted to share whatever the key takeaways which has worked for me, the do's and don'ts I learned from others and executed and made it successful in my organization. So today I'm able to share it with others also. So it all starts with you going out and saying, please help me. That's okay. So people judge all they want, but it's okay if you are able to learn and move up the ladder. Who cares, man? Then people judge all they want, right? So building that brand is equally important on internally and also externally, guys. That's another important key takeaway that maybe you all should keep in mind. And I'm sure that not only you would be great employees, but also great leaders and maybe eventually float companies. Tarun is an amazing human being and great guy. You would also be able to learn a lot more from him on a day-to-day basis that you guys are interacting with it. So yeah, all guys, as you have enough learning from people around. If you're able to take that and it's all about how fast you're able to upgrade yourself, right? So if you're able to change yourself from every day, then maybe within a year you see that change, whatever you are aspiring for in a couple of years. It's all about how fast are you able to upgrade yourself, but be a better version of you on a day-to-day basis, isn't it? So yeah, as in that's that, guys. Anything else? Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Prithvi. I think we'll process all of what you said, and fantastic points, and
Sure.
hoping to implement it soon. Yeah.